Video opens on a hyper-detailed, black and white ink drawing. A lone, armored figure stands against a twisted, gnarled landscape. The camera slowly zooms in on the figure's helmet, shaped like the skull of a wolf. The only sound is the low, mournful sigh of the wind. Voiceover. There is a stranger who lives inside you. You have met him, perhaps not often, but you know his presence. He is the cold fury that floods your veins when you are cut off in traffic. The sudden, volcanic impulse to smash something fragile when you feel powerless. He is the voice that whispers venomous, unforgivable things to the people you love in the heat of an argument. You feel him stir when you are disrespected, when your back is against the wall, when fear coils in your gut. And for a moment, a terrifying, exhilarating moment, you are not yourself. You are something older. Something simpler. Something that solves problems with teeth and claws. We will call this presence what it is, the indwelling beast. A creature of pure, undiluted rage, chained in the dungeon of your soul. You have been told your entire life to starve this beast. To deny it. To pretend it does not exist. But you and I know the truth. The more you ignore the rattling of its cage, the more violently it thrashes against the bars. This is not a guide on how to slay your beast. That is a fool's errand, a child's fantasy. You cannot kill a part of yourself. What I offer you today is something far more difficult, and far more necessary. I will give you the grim knowledge required to face this beast, to understand its language, and to forge a leash. By the end of this journey, you will understand how to transform the most destructive force within you into an engine for your will. The scene transitions to a close-up of a human eye, wide with rage. The iris is blood red. Reflected in the pupil is the snarling maw of a wolf-like creature. Cross-hatching and ink washes create a feeling of intense, chaotic energy. You think of your anger as a flaw. A shameful loss of control. A momentary madness you must apologize for later. You feel the heat rise from your chest into your throat. Your jaw clenches. Your muscles tense for a fight that exists only in your mind. The world narrows to a single point. The source of your irritation, your fear, your humiliation. In that red haze, reason is a distant shore, and you are adrift on a sea of instinct. Think of the last time it happened. A colleague takes credit for your work. A partner's careless words strike a hidden nerve. A stranger's arrogance makes you feel small. The trigger is often trivial, almost laughable in hindsight. But the reaction is monstrous. You say the thing you cannot take back. Your words become weapons, sharpened by years of unspoken resentments, and you aim them where they will hurt the most. Or perhaps the rage turns inward. You berate yourself, a torrent of self-hatred that leaves you hollowed out, exhausted, and ashamed. You punch a wall, the sharp pain a welcome distraction from the searing burn of your own powerlessness. After the storm passes, the wreckage remains. There is the silence of a wounded loved one. The awkward distance with a coworker. The lingering tremor in your own hands. And beneath it all, a gnawing, insidious question. Who was that? That was the beast. And here is the hidden cost, the truth you have likely never dared to confront. Your uncontrolled rage is not a sign of your strength. It is the clearest possible signal of your deepest vulnerability. The beast does not roar to show its power, it roars to protect a wound. It is the savage guard dog that lunges at anyone who comes near the broken, frightened child still hiding within you. Every uncontrolled outburst is an admission of terror. It tells the world exactly where you are fragile. It screams to your enemies, here. Here is the weakness you can exploit. By letting the beast rule you, you are not protecting yourself. You are handing the map of your own soul to anyone who wishes you harm. You become a predictable puppet, your strings pulled by the slightest provocation. You live in a prison of your own making, isolated by the very fury that promises to keep you safe. This is not a life. It is a slow surrender. The image shifts. We see the iconic panel of Guts, the black swordsman, first donning the Berserker armor. The cursed dwarven plague begins to twist and morph around him, sharp angles and jagged edges piercing his skin. The visuals are violent, visceral, a fusion of flesh and demonic iron. To understand the solution, we must look to a world forged in suffering. We must look to the story of the black swordsman, Guts. And we must understand the most terrible gift he ever received, the Berserker armor. This armor is a perfect metaphor for our inner rage. When Guts is overwhelmed, when his pain and exhaustion become too much to bear, the armor offers him a devil's bargain. It will take the pain away. It will numb his fear. It will flood his body with limitless, supernatural strength, allowing him to fight on a whirlwind of destruction. The cost? His humanity. When the armor's visor slams shut, Guts is gone. Only the beast of darkness remains. A mindless engine of slaughter that cannot distinguish friend from foe. It feels no pain, but it also feels no love, no loyalty, no purpose. It will fight until its host's body is literally torn to shreds from the strain, until every bone is broken and every drop of blood is spilled. It is power without consciousness. It is will without a mind. This is the nature of your own beast. It offers you the power to endure insults, to fight back against fear, to obliterate obstacles. But it will demand your soul as payment. The story of Guts is not about him refusing the armor. It is about him learning to wear it without being consumed. He learns to ride the very edge of madness, to harness the power of the beast without surrendering the driver's seat. This is the path we must walk. This path is governed by 3 grim principles. Principle 1. The beast is not an enemy to be slain, but a force to be harnessed. You have been fighting a civil war against yourself. You have tried to kill your anger, to suppress it, to shame it into silence. This has failed. It will always fail. You cannot destroy a fundamental part of your own primate brain. Rage is a survival instinct, the fire that boils the blood for a life or death struggle. To wish it gone is to wish yourself neutered and helpless. The goal is not eradication. The goal is dominion. You are its master, not its victim. Principle 2. Control is not suppression, it is direction. Suppressing rage is like trying to cap a volcano. The pressure only builds, unseen, until the inevitable, catastrophic eruption that lays waste to the landscape of your life. True control is about building channels, like lava tubes, to direct that molten energy where you will it to go. Anger is simply energy. Raw, potent, and undirected. You can let it explode randomly, destroying your home and your relationships, or you can channel that same explosive force into a piston that drives you toward your goals. Principle 3. The leash is forged from purpose and connection. What stops Guts from being completely consumed by the armor? At first, it is the voice of the witch, Shirk, who acts as his anchor in the astral plane, a lifeline back to his own consciousness. Later, it is the faces of his companions, the new bonds he has forged, the purpose he has found in protecting them. The beast knows only destruction. It has no long-term goals. To master it, you must have something in your life that is more important than the immediate, intoxicating satisfaction of rage. A purpose. A principle. A person. This is your anchor. This is the chain you wrap around the beast's neck. Imagine your rage as a starving, rabid wolf chained in the cellar of your mind. For years, you have done one of 2 things. You either ignore the wolf, letting it grow weaker and more desperate from starvation, or you periodically unlock the cellar door and let it run wild, only to be horrified by the carnage it leaves in its wake. There is a third option. You must walk down into that cellar. You must look the wolf in the eye. You must understand that its hunger is a part of you. And you must begin to feed it, on your own terms. You must train it, discipline it, and teach it who to bite. You are not its jailer, nor are you its victim. You are its master. And a master knows his animal's nature. The visual style becomes more instructional, like diagrams carved into ancient stone tablets. We see a silhouette of a man, with a raging, fiery beast visible within his chest. Lines of force and energy flow from the beast, being directed by the man's will. Philosophy is worthless if it does not touch the ground. The principles are the map. These are the steps you take on the path. This is the practical, bitter work of forging the leash. Do not mistake their simplicity for ease. This is the hardest work a man can do. Step 1. Identify the cage. The beast does not rattle its cage for no reason. Your rage is a response to a perceived threat, but rarely the one you think it is. You must become a scholar of your own anger. You must map the boundaries of its prison. Your task is this. For the next month, carry a small journal or use a notes app on your phone. Every time you feel that flash of true, potent anger, the kind that makes your hands shake, you will stop, as soon as you can, and write down the answers to 3 questions. First, what was the objective trigger? Second, what was my immediate, impulsive thought? Third, what is the real wound this touched? What is the underlying fear or belief? Be brutally honest. The trigger is not the cause. The disrespect, the feeling of helplessness, the fear of being seen as weak, that is the cage. Rage is simply the sound of the beast throwing itself against those bars. You cannot tame an animal you do not understand. Do this relentlessly, and you will begin to see the patterns. You will learn what truly puts you on the defensive. This knowledge is the first link in the chain. Step 2. Hear the howl. When you feel the rage begin to rise, the heat, the tension, the narrowing of your vision, your instinct is to either lash out or clamp down. Both are wrong. Both mean the beast is in control. Instead, you must learn to create a space between the stimulus and your response. Try this technique. It is an ancient Stoic practice, reforged for this purpose. When you feel the trigger, consciously take one deep, slow breath. In that brief moment of inhalation, you are creating a pocket of silence. In that space, you must ask your rage a single, direct question. What are you trying to protect me from? Do not judge the answer. The beast's logic is primitive. The answer might be, from looking like a fool, or from being abandoned, or from being physically harmed. The answer itself is less important than the act of asking. By questioning the rage, you are engaging your rational mind. You are shifting from being the rage to being the observer of the rage. You are reminding yourself that you are the master, and it is the animal. This simple act reasserts your authority. You are hearing the howl, not becoming the howl. Step 3. Find your anchor. The beast of darkness pulls guts into a world of pure, screaming impulse. The only thing that can guide him back is an external, spiritual anchor. You must forge your own. An anchor is a value, a memory, or a person that represents something more important to you than the fleeting, venomous release of anger. Your task: sit down, alone and in silence. Ask yourself, what do I refuse to sacrifice on the altar of my temper? Is it the safety your children feel around you? The trust of your partner? Your professional integrity? Your own self-respect? Find it. Be specific. It cannot be a vague concept like happiness. It must be a concrete image. The look on your daughter's face when she feels safe. The memory of your partner looking at you with pure trust. The feeling of pride after completing a difficult task with honor. Once you have this image, this anchor, you must make it tangible. Write it on a small card and keep it in your wallet. Set it as the lock screen on your phone. Make it a physical object you can touch. When you feel the beast begin to take over, when you are in that space you created by hearing the howl, you will focus on this anchor. You will look at the picture. You will touch the card in your pocket. This is your incantation. This is the lifeline that pulls you back from the abyss of mindless reaction. The beast has no answer for this. It is a creature of the present moment. It has no concept of a future you are trying to protect. Step 4. Feed the beast deliberately. The energy of rage cannot be destroyed. It must be expended. If you do not give it a controlled outlet, it will create a catastrophic one for you. You must schedule its release. You must take the beast for a walk, on a leash, before it breaks down the door to run wild. Your task: find a constructive or exhausting ritual and make it a non-negotiable part of your life. This is where you will channel the beast's energy. For some, it is intense physical exercise. Lifting heavy weights until your muscles scream, sprinting until your lungs burn, striking a heavy bag until your knuckles are raw. For others, it is a creative act, channeling that raw emotion into painting, writing, or playing music. For others still, it is a controlled confrontation, a debate club, competitive sports, a high-stakes business negotiation. The activity itself matters less than the intention. You are consciously taking the chaotic energy of your inner world and giving it a task in the outer world. You are telling the beast, I see your strength. I acknowledge your power. Now, we will use it to do this. You are transforming it from a liability into a fuel source. Do not wait for the explosion. Bleed the pressure yourself. regularly and with purpose. The scene transitions to a magnificent splash page from the manga. Guts, in his full Berserker armor, is in midair, swinging the massive Dragonslayer sword. But behind him, a spectral image of the witch Shirk is visible, her hands on his shoulders, guiding him. There is a sense of controlled chaos, of immense power being given a single, deadly focus. Does this work? Is this mere poetry, or is it a practical path to power? For proof, we need only look at the arc of the swordsman himself. When Guts first receives the armor, he is its slave. During a battle against a massive sea god, he is completely consumed. The beast takes over, and he becomes an unstoppable, unthinking monster. He achieves his objective, but at a terrible price. He brutally injures himself, and more importantly, he loses all sense of self. It is a hollow, terrifying victory. But as his journey continues, something changes. He fights alongside new companions. He accepts the help of Shirk, his anchor. He is no longer just a man driven by revenge. He is a man driven by a new purpose, to protect his found family and heal the one he loves. Look at his fight with the apostles in the troll-infested village. He activates the armor, but this time, it is different. He is no longer completely lost. He can hear Shirky's voice. He can focus the beast's indiscriminate rage on the actual enemies. He is using the armor's power, but he is not surrendering his will to it. He is walking the razor's edge between man and monster, and in doing so, becomes something more than either. He proves that the greatest power comes not from the beast itself, but from the will that masters it. This is not just the stuff of fantasy. This struggle is a fundamental truth of the human condition, one recognized by thinkers and psychologists for centuries. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung spoke of integrating the shadow. He argued that the dark, destructive, primitive parts of our psyche cannot be ignored or repressed. To do so is to make them autonomous, to let them grow in the dark until they possess us. True psychological health, Jung believed, comes from consciously confronting this shadow, this beast, and integrating its energy into the whole of the self. Your anger, your aggression, your evil impulses. They are a source of tremendous vitality and power, if you have the courage to face them and harness them. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster." And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss will also gaze into you. This is the eternal warning. The Berserker armor is the abyss. But the story of Guts provides the crucial addendum. If you must gaze into the abyss, if you must fight monsters, then you had better do it with a purpose that is stronger than the abyss itself. You had better have an anchor to pull you back out. The logic is inescapable. Your rage is a primal survival tool. To deny it is to fight your own nature. To indulge it blindly is to become its slave. The only path forward, the only path to true strength, is the third way, the path of conscious mastery. It is the path of the struggler. Final shot. A slow, majestic pan across a detailed landscape at dawn. The armored figure from the beginning is now sitting by a small bonfire. The wolf-like helmet is off, sitting beside him. We see the scarred, weary, but resolute face of a man. The fire crackles softly. The beast of darkness is not a curse. It is a part of your inheritance as a human being. It is the fire of survival that has burned in the heart of our species for 1,000,000 years. It kept your ancestors alive in a world of predators and scarcity. Now, in a world of trivial insults and digital conflicts, that same fire threatens to burn your life to the ground. It is your task, your burden and your privilege, to become its master. To feel its heat and not be consumed. To use its light to forge your own path through the darkness. So I ask you, struggler, what is the name of your beast? And what anchor pulls you back from its edge? The journey is solitary, but we are not alone. Share your struggle in the comments below. Let this place be a testament to our collective war. You have found a bonfire in the dark. A sanctuary for those who walk the hard path. If these words speak to the warrior in your soul, then join the band. Subscribe, and take your place among the strugglers. To master the beast, you must first understand the wound it guards. Your anger is a symptom, not the disease. The next step in your journey is to understand the origin of that wound. Watch our video, The Brand of Sacrifice. forging strength from your deepest wounds, to begin that critical work. The night is long. The fight is endless. But here, you have a place to rest. Until next time. The screen fades to black. The only remaining image is the flickering bonfire. The sound of the fire and the wind are all that remain.